What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best NBA player props on Prizepicks today. Now I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see, we actually got 22 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. Now a lot of you comment wanting to see how many I got wrong, and I thought I'd show you in today's video. We only got 2 picks wrong and got 22 right, which is a 95% win rate. Yes guys, you heard that right, 95% win rate. So we're on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get a 95% win rate and get 22 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you get access to the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon. Should be a link down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure you join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $575 just yesterday. Another member who won $159 for the 6th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description, so go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group, and I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. Alright, so I want to give a quick shout out to Stephen Boyle M5G, who said I parlayed them together, first time watching, up 8 units, thank you sir. So shouts out to him, and if you do want to win a shout out in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below in this video and like it, and you can be in the running to win a shout out in the next one. Alright, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're talking about is none other than Jamal Murray, and this one is actually for points. Now this one is for 22 points flat, and this one actually is for less. Now, looking at Jamal Murray, we've actually seen him go on the under in 2 out of the last 5 games. Now, obviously, looking at these games, it has been all against LA Clippers. Now, on April 22nd, now this is actually game 2, so it is starting from game 2. But in game 2, he had 23 points. And then moving on from that, we actually saw in game 3 on April 25th against the Clippers, he had 23 points again. Then we actually saw in game 4, he had 13. Game 5 had 43 on April 30th. And then game 6 had 21 points. So we definitely have seen him do a pretty decent job. Like I mentioned, he has gone on the under in 2 out of the last 5, but his average over the last 5 is also 24, so slightly above this line. However, the reason why his average is slightly above this line is due to the fact that he did have a 43-point game. I do believe it had brought this line a little bit too high for, compared to his line, that it has brought this line higher than it should be, which definitely, has kind of overinflated it, which is why we do like the under for this one. If we look at some of the games he has gone on the over, whether it's the game 2 and game 3, we saw he only had 23 points, so only made it over by 1 point, so not really convincing enough to us there. Now, as you all know, they face off against LA Clippers in Game 7. It's definitely going to be an exciting game, and no doubt about it. But looking between both of these teams, as we all know, the Denver Nuggets did come in during the regular season in the Western Conference. They actually came fourth with a record of 50-32. So they had a 61% win percentage. They were able to finish off the season with a 3-game win streak. And then on top of that, we saw the LA Clippers come in at the 5th spot in the Western Conference with a record of 50-32. So some say that, when we look at 4th and 5th, it's definitely, the most even matchup between these teams in the playoffs due to the fact that they are ranked 4th and 5th, which I do agree on. But they also had the same record, 61% win percentage. Now they did finish with an 8-game win streak to finish off that season. So, LA Clippers were definitely on a roll just before the playoffs actually started. They were able to definitely lift it up from there. Now looking at this game, is definitely going to be a very exciting game, but it's obviously going to be very intense due to the fact that it is game 7. So this is a win or go home situation for either one of these teams. Now obviously Jamal Murray does face off against the Clippers, and looking at the Clippers, we do see that they rank 4th when it comes to points allowed. And that's a big reason why we do very much like the under for this one. LA Clippers have just done a fantastic job all season at restricting points, and we definitely see that happening again, in this matchup. Now, when we look at Jamal Murray, we all do know that he is one of the star players for this Denver Nuggets team alongside Nikola Jokic, and that's a big reason why we do very much like, the under for this situation here. The reason being is that LA Clippers throughout the whole season, obviously do a fantastic job at slowing down and restricting stars from scoring, and that's what we are expecting for them to do in this game 7. We are most likely expecting LA Clippers to allow other players in this Denver roster to get going, but they would rather stop players like Jamal as soon as they can. So we are expecting them to try to have or try to commit Jamal Murray to go on the under in this situation here, no doubt about it. So definitely keep an eye out for Jamal Murray coming into this next matchup. It's definitely going to be an exciting one, but on top of that, we do like the under for it. Now, looking at Jamal Murray against LA Clippers during the regular season, it actually does go in our favor to what we have decided, because we actually saw, in some of those games last year in the 26, he actually had 22 points, so actually had a push compared to his line. Then on the 1st of December, came through in 2024 and had 18 points, so went under there. Then on the 13th of that same month of December, had 20 points there. And then on the 8th of January, had 21 points. So we've actually seen, when it comes to all these 4 games, we saw technically him go on the under in all 4, with one of them being a push, however. But because of that, we do very much like and are sticking to the under for this situation here. Clippers during the regular season did do a fantastic job at slowing, Jamal Murray down for points. And on top of that, they have done a really decent job at restricting them so far, or restricting, Jamal Murray in this case so far, throughout this whole series. So we definitely see it happening once again, especially in a game 7. We are expecting that strategy from this Clippers team coming into this matchup. So for that reason, definitely keep an eye out for him. Jamal Murray, 22 points for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about none other than Nicolas Batum. Now, as you all know, guys, this is the only game for today. So all the picks are going to be from this game, the LA Clippers and Denver matchup. But we are looking at the other side, Nicolas Batum. Now, this one is a fantastic one for 7 points, and this one actually is for less. Now, looking at Batum, we have actually seen him go on the under in 4 out of the last 5 games. Now, looking at those games, we definitely have seen something pretty interesting due to the fact that we saw on April 22nd against Denver, he had 6 points there. April 25th, faced off against Denver again, had 12 points. On April 27th, had 3 points. 0 points on April 30th, and then on May 2 had 6 points in that matchup. So Nicolas Batum has gone on the under, like I mentioned, 4 out of the last 5 games, and his average over the last 5 is also 5.4, so significantly below this line. Now, he did have somewhat of a breakout game, wasn't really anything too major, but we definitely did see Nicolas Batum still go on, still do over his actual line, where he had 12 points on April 25th. We do believe that this did bring this line a little bit too high, that now there's a lot more value actually to go on the under. So like we mentioned before, LA Clippers and Denver only match up, and like we mentioned, Nuggets are 4th, Clippers are 5th, same record, pretty much came down to for and against when it came to their ranking. But looking at the Denver Nuggets and where they do rank, we do see that Denver Nuggets do rank when it comes to points allowed. They do actually rank pretty low, as they rank 25th. Now, the reason why we do like the under for this situation here is that when it comes to Nicolas Batum, he does play that small forward position, and Denver actually do a great job at restricting points to, role players in general. Now, his small forward position, obviously, he isn't the starting small forward. Kawhi Leonard tends to usually play that. Now, Nicolas Batum, we have seen come off the bench. At times, he has been starter, but most of the time has been coming off the bench. And Denver have actually done a great job at slowing down and restricting, points from role players and from bench players. So we definitely see that happening coming into this game. And as you all know, this is obviously game 7. So this is a very, very important game. And as we always are expecting, the star players are definitely going to get their usage rate and probably get an increase in their usage rate due to, the severity of the matchup. And that's why we see someone like Batum, who hasn't really been that much of a main scorer for this, actual LA Clippers team. We should actually see him go on the under in this situation here. And it definitely has happened in most of the majority of those games so far. You do see pretty much on almost every single game that has been played this series, he's pretty much going under on his line. So we definitely see or are expecting to have the similar outcome there. Now, looking at actually, Nicolas Batum, when it comes to his time against Denver during the regular season, we did see somewhat of a similar outcome. We saw them did play last year on the 26th. He had 1 point in that matchup. Then on the 1st of December, had 3 points there, and then on the 13th of December had 6 points, and then 3 points on the 8th of January. So we saw him going the under in all 4 of those games, and significantly going the under as well in some of them. So that's a big reason why we do very much like the under for this situation here. Now, looking at someone like Nicolas Batum as well, what we are expecting from this game is due to the fact that when it comes to Batum's usage rate out there, it doesn't really remain that high, and it's definitely been a little bit up in the air as of recent, due to this series. Obviously, both teams are making adjustments, and we have seen times Nicolas Batum not really get the same amount of usage rate that he usually does see. So we are expecting similar amount of, kind of adjustments to be made, and we should see other players in the Clippers roster kind of take a little more usage rate away from Nicolas Batum. So Nicolas Batum, 7 points for less, I think is a great pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about Nikola Jokic. So as you all know, Nikola Jokic, great player for none other than the actual, Denver Nuggets. And this one is a great one for points, rebs, and assists, or PRA at that matter. This one is for 50.5. And this one actually is for less. So looking at Nikola Jokic, we've actually seen him go on the under in 4 out of the last 5 games. Now, April 22nd or game 2, we actually saw him have 47 PRA. Then April 25th had a 50 PRA, 65 PRA on April 27th. And then April 30, against the Clippers had 36 PRA. And then a 40 PRA on May 2. So we definitely have seen Nikola Jokic go on the under consistently over the last 5 games. His average over the last 5 is also 47.6, so significantly below this line as well. But coming into this matchup, we do very much like the under for this situation here. Now, we have already talked about this matchup time in and time out. Denver Nuggets, LA Clippers, both 4th and 5th. Obviously, the series is tied. It is coming into game 7, and we are expecting a lot of defense from LA Clippers. Now, looking at LA Clippers, we do see that they rank 4th in points allowed. They also rank 9th when it comes to assists allowed. And then when we look at rebounds allowed, we also do see that the LA Clippers rank 1st. So they have done a fantastic job all season when it comes to ranking. Now, when it comes to someone like Nikola Jokic, the big reason why we do like the under for this situation here is that LA Clippers actually do a fantastic job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the center position. So we definitely see someone like Nikola Jokic struggling. Obviously, LA Clippers are going to focus a lot of the defensive attention on players like Jamal Murray and especially Nikola Jokic and try to stop them as early as possible. And it technically has worked because we have seen, over the last 5 games, 4 of them he did go on the under. So that's why we are expecting a similar outcome in this next one, no doubt about it. Now, both of these teams are pretty slow paced coming into this matchup. Both are great defensively. So we are expecting a lot of defensive pressure from both sides, but it definitely can, kind of do a lot of damage when it comes to Nikola Jokic's usage rate. So seeing how Nikola Jokic has done a pretty decent job, but is still gone on the under, we definitely are still liking the under for this next situation here. Now, looking at Nikola Jokic over the last 3 games that he did play against them, we saw last year on the 26th, he had 41 points, 9 rebounds, and also 4 assists. So did a fantastic job there. Then another matchup had 28 points, 14 rebounds, and 11 assists in that matchup. And then another matchup where he significantly went on the under, where he had on the 13th of December had 16 points, 7 rebs, and 2 assists. So, coming into this next one, we do very much like the under. Nikola Jokic, great player, but we do know a lot of the defensive pressure is going to be on him, and they are going to try to stop him as soon as they can. So, for that reason, we definitely are liking the under due to the fact that when we look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have him favored for the under as well. So Nikola Jokic for actually 50.5 points, rebs, and assists, or PRA for less, I think is a great pick. All right, so as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but Prizepicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So the first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Michael Porter Jr. Now, as you all know, Michael Porter Jr. is a fantastic player for none other than the Denver Nuggets. Now, like we mentioned before, there is only one game today, so all the picks are going to be from this game. But as we see, Denver Nuggets have done a great job with MPJ because Michael Porter Jr. has actually averaged 18.2 points, 7 rebounds, 2.1 assists, while also shooting 50.4% from the field. So he's done a fantastic job out there for the Denver Nuggets. And when it comes to the Denver Nuggets, they do face off, like we know, against the LA Clippers. Now, just reiterating again, this is a game 7, so it is a win or go home. Obviously, both teams are fighting till the end. Clippers, Nuggets, great matchup. Now, just to also show you, again, LA Clippers do rank 4th when it comes to points allowed, 9th in assists allowed, and when it comes to rebounds allowed, they actually did rank 1st in the regular season. So the LA Clippers have done a fantastic job all season when it came to restricting points, rebounds, and assists. And on top of that, when we look at LA Clippers, we actually do see that they do a fantastic job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the small forward position. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here. When it comes to MPJ as well, another big reason why we do like the under for a situation like this is due to the fact that MPJ does actually face off against Clippers, but throughout this whole series, MPJ has suffered an injury in his shoulder. His left shoulder, he isn't really able to move it that well. Yes, he has been playing, but if you have watched the games, you have seen him being wearing, some sort of pack or sort of a bandage around his left shoulder. It's definitely affecting his shooting, you can tell. He's still shooting very well, but we tend to see MPJ not really get the same amount of usage rate out there. He's kind of out there just to play the best that he can, but you can see him really leaving it to the others in the team, whether it's Jokic, Jamal Murray, other players like that, to do the scoring for him. So, unfortunately, it is sad to see MPJ not being able to be 100%, but we are going to be taking advantage of that and going on the under in this situation here. We definitely see him, he may definitely struggle in this game due to that injury as he continues to try to play through it. It is still up in the air whether Denver will actually play him. Obviously, this is a game 7, so, we may actually see different strategies come out from Denver Nuggets due to MPJ's injury. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for someone like MPJ. Now, looking at MPJ throughout the 5 games or the game so far, we actually have seen something pretty interesting. Now in game 2, we actually saw him have 15 points, 1 assist, 15 rebounds. So had a great game there. Then also had 7 points, 1 assist, and 6 rebounds in game 3. Then game 4 had 17 points, 2 assists, and 4 rebounds. After that, 14 points, 1 assist and 2 rebounds in game 5. Then game 6 had 5 points, 3 rebounds, and 0 assists. So it's definitely been an interesting time for, MPJ. It's definitely been a little bit up and down when it comes to his stats, which is obviously fair enough due to the fact that he is actually injured. But unfortunately, we are going to be taking advantage of that. We do like the under for this situation here, and we definitely see that happening. So I see a lot of value there to go on the under for MPJ coming into this matchup, especially, with his injury. So keep an eye out for his line. If the line is too close to his averages, then definitely look to go on the under there. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about none other than Ivica Zubac. So as you all know, Ivica Zubac, great player from the LA Clippers. Now, he's done a fantastic job all season because he's actually averaged 16.8 points, which is great to see, 12.6 rebounds, and then also 2.7 assists. So he has done a fantastic job there. Now, when we look at this, he's also shot 62.8% from the field, so he's done a great job in that asset. Now, when we look at all of his rankings in those categories, he ranked 55th in points, 4th in rebounds, 93rd in assists, and also 4th in field goal percentage. So he's definitely done a great job in all 4 categories when it comes to his ranking there. Now, obviously, like we mentioned, Clippers face off against Nuggets. It is game 7, and it is definitely going to come down to the wire for this one. Now, looking at Zubac and looking at the matchup against Nuggets, we do see, just to reiterate, Nuggets do actually rank 25th when it comes to points allowed. Now, they also do rank pretty low in assists, as they do rank 29th, and then rebounds allowed, we see them rank a little bit better, as they do rank 6th. Now, when it comes to someone like Ivica Zubac, it's definitely an interesting one because he definitely has had some big games and some off games, but coming into game 7, we should definitely see him go on the over in this one. A big reason being is that Denver Nuggets actually do a poor job at restricting points and assists to the center position, so we definitely see him taking advantage of that for sure. Now, obviously, when it comes to Zubac, we do or would definitely focus a little bit more on points and assists due to the fact that when it comes to Zubac, and also the matchup against Denver do a pretty poor job in those two categories. They do a little bit better in rebounds due to the fact that Jokic is just a massive rebounder and a big rebounder for this team. So definitely may take away from him drastically, but that's why we do very much like the over for this situation, but strictly for points and assists. Now, looking at Ivica Zubac so far this season, we actually have seen him do a great job, but looking at, the most recent games, so the last 5 being from 2 to 6, we saw in game 2, he had 16 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists there. Then in game 3, had 19 points, 1 assist, and 9 rebounds. Then had 19 points, 6 assists, and 12 rebounds in game 4. And then game 5 had 27 points, 1 assist, and then 5 rebounds. And then game 6 had 10 points, 6 rebounds, and 0 assists. So he definitely has done a fantastic job there. Now, obviously, looking at, where he has done well and has done a little bit poorly in some games, it's definitely very, very, up and down when it comes to it. But coming into this next one, we should definitely see him go on the over in this one. And that's kind of the same with, a lot of these picks as we've shared. Obviously, the playoffs is a very, very different sort of game. And, there's a lot of teams that really do set up their defense to try to stop certain players. Now, Ivica Zubac is a big player for LA Clippers, but we see a lot of the defensive strategies that Nuggets are going to put is most likely going to be on Kawhi and James Harden. So I definitely do think that this will definitely have a huge kind of opening for Ivica Zubac to go to work, and he should be able to take advantage of it, in that sense. So for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for the over for someone like Ivica Zubac coming into this game. No doubt about it. So keep an eye out for his line. I see a lot of value there to go on the over, but like I mentioned, definitely look at or stick to the points and assist categories. I definitely see there being a lot more value in that stuff for sure. So Ivica Zubac, keep an eye out for the points and assist line. If the line is under his averages, then definitely look to go on the over. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Russell Westbrook. So as you all know, Russell Westbrook, great player for none other than the Denver Nuggets. And like we mentioned, there is only one game, but looking at this game, we do see something pretty interesting because he has actually averaged 13.3 points, 4.9 rebounds, and 6.1 assists, also shooting 44.9% from the field. So he has done a fantastic job for, the Denver Nuggets. Now, the Denver Nuggets have actually, done a great job throughout the whole season, as they have actually come in ranking in at the actual 4th spot, and then Clippers at 5th. So, just to reiterate it there. But obviously, looking elsewhere, we also do see that Russell Westbrook did rank 78th in points, 79th in rebounds, 17th in assists, and then 86th in field goal percentage. So, still very good. Top 100 in all categories, I think, is a very, very decent. Now, Nuggets have definitely been playing Russell Westbrook, but Westbrook's usage rate has definitely been, pretty consistent, but definitely at times, a bit up and down, depending on his consistency. Now, looking at this matchup, obviously, Clippers are a great defensive team, as we've mentioned, 4th in points allowed. When it comes to assists allowed, we see that they rank 9th and then 1st in rebounds allowed. Now, coming into this game, we actually do see the under for someone like Russell Westbrook. And a big reason for this is due to the fact that when we look at Russell Westbrook, although he does have a decent usage rate, coming into Game 7, we are expecting a lot of the usage rate to really fall on players like Jokic, like Jamal Murray, and, even someone like Aaron Gordon. At times, or as we have seen, we do know that Russell Westbrook is more of a supporting act to these players. He definitely comes off the bench, plays that 6-man role very well, but as we look at it, we should definitely see someone like Westbrook go on the under in this situation here, especially against a team like Clippers who like to slow down the ball and also play some pretty great defense as well. So that's definitely something you want to keep an eye out for sure. Now, looking at actually, Russell Westbrook and the Denver Nuggets and their matchup so far, we have actually seen that Westbrook did miss out in Game 4, but we did see Game 1. He had 15 points, 3 assists, 8 rebounds there in Game 1. Did a great job in that matchup where they won 112 to 110 in an overtime game as well. Then moving on from that, we also saw he had 14 points, 1 assist, and also 4 rebounds, which was great to see in game 2. Now they did actually end up losing that game, 105 to 102, however. And then moving on into game 3, we saw him actually have 3 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist. So didn't really do too well in that category. Then moving on after that, obviously game 4 he didn't actually end up playing, but then moving on from there, we saw in game 5 he had 21 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist. And then finishing off in game 6, he had 14 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. So he definitely did a great job in that game. Now obviously we are looking for someone like Westbrook to really bring out, you know, the best in this Denver team, but in saying that, it is game 7. We are expecting a lot more of the stars to get a little bit more usage rate than usual. So we could actually see Westbrook take a back seat when it comes to his usage rate offensively. So we are expecting the under for this situation, especially against a tough LA Clippers team.